In the third session of Pancadashi, Swamiji began by stating that consciousness is not attached to any state of experience, nor can it be placed in any one condition. Consciousness should overstep the limits of inside and outside. An important point to remember is that Atma, consciousness, is universal, all pervading, meaning it is outside and inside of everything, as well as within and without. Atma is proof of itself. Atma Prema is self love, where you love yourself the most. And because you love yourself, you love others. This is the meditation, meaning the intensity of love we have with our own self. In the previous class, we discussed that Atma is existence and consciousness, that is Sat and Chit. In Shloka 7 to 10, Swamiji tells us about Atma as Ananda or bliss. Shloka 7 says that because this Samvit, the consciousness, is self-illumined, it does not need any support to know itself. Vedanta teaches us what we have missed and tries to resolve our confusion, our doubts. From the point of view of Atma, there is no growing in knowledge. Only we improve our understanding step by step by going through preliminary texts of Tatva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Panchadashi, etc. There is no non-existence for Atma. It is always existence. Atma, consciousness, is present everywhere, always. This is the eternity of Atma. Shloka 8 continues with the same idea. The essential nature of Atma is Ananda. Here also proof is again our own experience. Swamiji points out that Veda always takes individual's experience and analyzes it. Truth is with us. We have to just reveal it. We cannot manifest it. Try to understand it with your own experience. Atma is the object of supreme love, the greatest love. When we say this, it means that we love ourselves the most. When we do something that gives us happiness, we feel good about it. That is because we love ourselves the most. Swamiji elaborated on this with the example of charity. Nature of self is eternity. Therefore, we think and feel we are there forever. Shloka 9 extends the same idea further. There is an incident from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad where Rishi Yagnavalakya and his wife Maitreyi talk about love. Atma Tattvam itself is always Atma Tattvam itself is always love. That is your love, self-love more than everything. You love self more than anything. Atmanastu kamaya sarvan priyam bhavati. Therefore, Atma is your core nature, core existence. The affection towards others is not for others, but for our own self. Self is loved because of self, without any other conditionings. With this, we have completed the essential nature of Atma, Sat, Chit, Ananda. This can be a meditation. That is, whenever you think or feel about love, try to feel that it is because of Atma, which I love the most. Atma is love and is highest experience of bliss. In Shloka 10, Acharya ji concludes this subject in this way. Atma is established as Satchit Ananda, explained through reasoning, that is Yukti. Now, for our thorough understanding, we should do Mananam on this aspect. Swamiji pointed out that after leaving all this, people are not necessarily happy. After learning all this, people are not necessarily happy. That means that intellectual nature of learning cannot give you happiness. This is because this intellectual form of knowledge is produced by Rajoguna Pravriti. Intellectual learning is an activity only, like any other activity. One has to go deep inside using all the techniques, reasonings, and logic and enter into the nature of yourself. Next, Swamiji talked about the difference between sentient and non-sentient being. Non-sentient objects have tamoguna, and so Sat alone is there. But consciousness and happiness are not there. Both are in the unmanifest form. Knowledge is a product of Sattva Guna. When Sattva Guna is predominant, then one will not become tired. Sattva Guna gives complete relaxation. This is the difference between sentient and non-sentient beings. Shloka 11 talks of the contradiction that Atma is always there, yet we do not experience it. It means Atma is known yet unknown. Atma is always there, but we are missing it. This contradiction is resolved in Shloka 11. If if you experience the supreme love, bliss of Atma, then you need not go after all the outside object, that is Vishyananda. Irony is, we accept all this Vedantic theory and still go after outside objects. So we say that this Atma is not yet unknown. It is experience, yet not experience. Swamiji concluded by telling us to do mananam on this and find the answer. Next. Hari Om Swamiji.
Malaya Karunalaya Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarai Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishwaro Gururatmede Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padam Pujanmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Namo Narayanaya. We have seen the Sloka 11. It was said, Abhane na param prema, bhane na vishaye spriha. Ato bhane pya bhataso, paramanandada atmanaha. So this affection towards Atma shows the presence and experience of Atma. So that was the subject. So affection cannot happen without an object or without an experience of an object. So when we know something, then only we have some emotion towards it. So therefore, this is the situation that we know it, yet we do not know it. So how it is possible? So we thought about it, and I remember I gave this question to find out this contradiction. What is your opinion on this? Can you say that I know Atma or I do not know Atma? So what would be the answer? So can we say that we know Atma or we do not know Atma? But what we could say. So I think you all thought about it. So what would be the answer? The answer is always in contradiction. You can't state that I know Atma, and you can't deny that you don't know Atma. Then, in this contradiction, knowing and unknowing, in between knowing and unknowing, we lead our life. We are studying this Vedanta because this knowing and unknowing is making so much problem. No, sometimes we are very free from all external activities and we feel ourselves very good, concentrated, contemplation and everything. But in other hand, we are there with all the objects and disturbance. So when we get into all those disturbance, we think we don't know Atma, therefore it is happening. No? And when we have a good meditation and our mind is concentrated, then we assume that, oh, we got some Vedantic knowledge, now some realization is happening, so it is happening. So you accept yourself and you give some self-esteem. So you estimate yourself very high. So this in between, the knowing and unknowing. Here, Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji's statement on 11th Sloka is going to lead the discussion further. Now for this statement, which he made in 11th Shloka, is going to give an analogy to illustrate it. In 12th Shloka, we will see that अध्येतृवर्ग मध्यस्थ पुत्राध्ययन शब्दवत् अध्येतृवर्ग मध्यस्थ पुत्राध्ययन शब्दवत् भानेप्यभानं भानस्य प्रतिबन्धेन युज्यते. Bhanepyabhanam bhanasya pratibandhena yujyate. So, bhanepi abhanam bhanasya pratibandhena yujyate. In this sloka, the first line is single word, one word. Adhyetru varga madhyastha putradhyayana shabdavat. Bhane api abhanam bhanasya pradibandhena yujyate. So this way we can split these words. So the last word it says pradibandhena yujyate. Bhanepi abhanam bhanasya pradibandhena yujyate. Even when being perceived, non-perception is possible and can happen by some reason, by some obstruction. So the obstruction will block the perception, stop the perception. So now, bhane api abhanam. Bhana means, bhane, it means when is being perceived. Something is perceived, received, known. But while knowing, there can be non-perception as well. It means it is not particularly known, specifically known. With a clear thought, intellectual understanding. So the knowing can be in general. So you have some idea, you have some experience, some feeling, but the particular understanding of that is not there. And in this state, we can say that there is a possibility of an obstruction. This obstruction may be in gross form or in subtle form. No. Apparent obstruction and non-apparent obstruction. So it can be in any form. But for sure, there is an obstruction. So this point is illustrated here. A father whose son was studying in a Gurukula where there were maybe more than 50 students of Veda chanting. So one day father goes to that Gurukula. So while he was entering into the Gurukula, the outside of that particular building where the Veda chanting, Veda teaching was going on, he entered there. So he could clearly hear the sound of Veda chanting from that hall where there were more than 50 or students. So they were chanting the mantras together. The whole sound was vibrating there. So he could clearly hear the sound of chanting. And this father knows that my son is also there, is one among them. So now he knows that his son is there. He is also chanting with those students. But now in this situation, he is unable to separate and really recognize which is his son's voice. It is mixed up with others' voice. But now the father cannot say that he is not hearing the voice of his son. He accepts that he is hearing the voice of his son as well, with his son's fellow students. But there is an obstruction because this sound is mixed with other sounds. So this mixing up with other sounds is an obstruction for that father to clearly recognize, identify his son's voice. Right? Now, what he could do, because in this situation, normally, if that Veda chanting is on, nobody from outside is allowed to enter the hall unless it is not finished. So he should wait outside and wait for the chanting to complete. So meanwhile, what he could do is, now remember what we could also do. So what he could do is, because he has some previous idea, understanding, or some memory of his son's voice. Being a father, he must have some memory of that. So with that, he will slowly concentrate on the voice coming out, the sound coming out. He will concentrate on that mixed sound. So slowly he will try to identify one by one. Then if his concentration and the previous memory of sound is clear, if he has clear memory of his son's sound, he will identify his son's voice among those various voices missed. So slowly he can identify it. When he identifies that, he will feel happy. No, he will he will be glad to know that my son is also chanting like this. So he will be happy by identifying his son's voice separately. So this is quite possible. Now, similarly here, the knowledge of Atma is there always. It cannot go. It's always there. But unfortunately, the knowledge of Atma is mixed up with so many other knowledges. All perceptions from various actions and sense objects and previous memories, current memories, all these are mixed up. So we are unable to identify the consciousness of the Atma separately. So like that father who was waiting there and contemplating, if we could also do that, if we could contemplate ourselves inwardly, then definitely we can identify our own consciousness separated from all other thoughts, all other objective consciousness. The subjective consciousness will be identified. So I am. So this can be identified from this is, that is, all those, these and that's and so on. And this, it and its, that and this are all disturbance. Those are the obstructions of not identifying this. So whenever our mind is little bit concentrated, so it means mind has some energy or some mood of concentration, leaving off all other objects and activities. Then when it is connected with the Atma, it gets that taste. Then we say, oh, we know today's my mind is quite good. It is concentrating. Or now I am understanding something. I know this Vedanta says what is this right. So you accept everything. So very cool and very nice. So this is what is happening. No, every day we have this experience. So now try to do this again and again. So at the end, we will get that we will land in a state where the mind will always be with this internal deep experience. It will not leave that experience. So this is what is just here. We chanted this sloka. Adhyetru varga madhyastha putra adhyena shabdavat. So I have just told you the story. Bhanepi abhanam bhanasya pradibandhena yujyate. Now one has to remove this obstruction by practice. Now the next sloka is continuing. There you may ask, what is this obstruction? You are always saying obstruction of obstruction. So what is this disturbance? So now in 30th sloka, Acharya is defining the distraction, the obstruction. Pradibandhosti bhatiti vyavahararhavastuni. Pradibandhosti bhatiti vyavahararhavastuni. Tannirasya viruddhasya tasyotpadanamuchyate. Tannirasya viruddhasya tasyotpadanamuchyate. If we split the words, pradibandhaha asti bhati iti. Vyavahara vyavahararha vastuni tannirasya viruddhasya tasya utpadanam uchyate. So what is this pradibandha? So pradibandha means obstruction. Asti bhadi iti vyavahara vastuni. So the objects outside, or about what we are discussing now, the subject under discussion is called vyavahara vastuni. Vyavahara means it can be a discussion, any action, external action is called vyavahara. Any communication is called vyavahara. So vyavahara, the action and reaction, communication and perceiving objects, all these are together called vyavahara vastuni. So there is an object outside. So here Acharya says, in that object, you can see two things. One is asti. It means that object exists. We say that is, this is. So asti is there, the existence of that object. And the second one is bhati. And that object is shining. Shining means we are seeing it. The object appears. The appearance is there. So asti and bhati. Object is there and object is revealed and it shines. When an object has these two qualities, these essential qualities, inherent qualities, then we say that it is. This is an object. This is book. This is flower. This is food. This is fruit. So everywhere it is there. This is, and this appearance and existence is constantly with that. It is inherent in that object. So now, this we know always. We have no doubt about it. If someone asks, when we say book is, what does it mean? We say it means it is, book is means book is seen. I know it. This is there. I know it. Therefore it is. So when someone asks, book is there, what is the proof for that? No. How you can make it evident that book is there? What is the evidence? Immediately you say that I know that it is there, so it is there. If it is not there, I would have not known. So it is knowing, I know it, therefore it is there. Now you see, the existence brings the evidence of knowledge. Or to prove the existence, you have to bring the evidence of your knowledge. Now similarly with yourself. Now if somebody asks, who is there? So you say, I am. So who is there means I am. Then he asked the second question. You prove yourself. Now, the same question was asked with the book. When you said book is, so I asked, prove it. So he said, no, I know it. Book is there. I am seeing it, perceiving it. Therefore, it is there. That will be the answer. Now, someone asks you, if you are there, you give evidence, you prove it that you are there. I am. Now, how you are going to prove? Huh? If you can prove it that you are there, then you will realize what is yourself, and you will realize all Vedanta. This question is very simple. When you say I am, if somebody asks who is there, I say I am there. If you want to prove, you will sometimes you may give your name. I am so and so is here. Now the next question comes. You prove yourself that you are there. Now what you will say normally, no? Out of Vedanta, who is not learning Vedanta, who has no idea of Vedanta, what he will say or she will say, if you want to prove that I am here, you come and look at me. You come inside or no, and see that I am here. So why you are calling that person to come inside and look at you and prove himself that you are there? Because you can't give your proof for existence. You cannot give any evidence that you exist. So you can only maximum you can give your passport and ID card and your birth certificate and all those proof, but you cannot give your own evidence to prove that you are there. Now that person when comes inside and see you, what he is seeing? He is seeing your physical body and he thinks so. If physical body is there and the person is laughing or crying or doing some action, so he is alive. So it means he is there. That is not a direct evidence. It is not direct evidence. It is indirect. So it means if you want to prove yourself, you have to ask somebody else. No, that's the situation. But this is not correct. Actually, what happened? Tannirasya viruddhasya tasya utpadana muchyate. So now an obstruction is that we have to deny that. Tannirasya. We have to deny the obstruction. And then tasya viruddhasya utpadana muchyate. The realization of that existence, we have to give some proof for that. Viruddhasya tadotpadana michyate. Ataha, this all process is based on our own existence. So tannirasya viruddhasya tasya utpadana muchyate. The existence and realization and produces the counter experience that they are not existing, they are not revealing. So existence and knowledge is always there, but to prove that you have to take some support outside support. Because even for your own existence, proof for your own existence, you have to take other's support. Now, for example, if you want to prove that your mind is working, or if you want to prove to somebody that you are an intelligent person, now how you prove? You have to work something, you have to work out something, you have to do some action, then say, see, I am doing this, so I know this. No, I can write in Sanskrit. So you have to write and show that you know this. So in every action, we have to do some action, some opposite action to show that. So the existence and knowledge goes together. They prove each other. They prove each other. It means knowledge proves by existence, and existence is proved by knowledge. So this is how it goes. So here we are unable to experience our own existence, the universal existence, all-pervadingness, all-pervading consciousness. Therefore, that in that state, we say, I am limited in this body. I am experiencing only this body and mind. So therefore, we have to do a special contemplation to identify our existence, our own existence, the Sat. Now, whatever we know about this is not sufficient, because all this knowledge goes with the objects. So without objects, we cannot prove. Like, no, when that person asked, how can you prove yourself? You prove it. So we could not give any evidence. We could only say, if you want proof, if you want a proof, you just come and see me, look at me, then you will see that I am here. So this is how we are trying to do now. So we are trying to experience Atma as an object. This is what is an obstruction. So now this next sloka is continuing with this. Tasya hetu samana bhihara putra dhvanishruto. Tasya hetu samana bhihara putra dhvanishruto. Ihanadira vidyaiva vyamohaika nibandhanam. Ihanadira vidyaiva vyamohaika nibandhanam. So again, Acharya is connecting this statement with the above analogy of that father and son in the 12th sloka. So in that analogy, tasya hetuhu samana abhiharaha putra dhvani srutau. Why that father could not recognize his son's voice separately, the reason was joint recital of students. That was the obstruction. All those students were reciting Veda mantras together in one voice, one pitch. So that was the obstruction. That was the reason that he could not identify his son's voice separately. So samana abhiharaha. Samana abhihara means joint recital like chorus. It is called samana abhihara. Not only they are reciting together, but also in same pitch and in same swaras. So he could not recognize his putra dhvani shrutau, his son's Veda reciting, he could not recognize. Now that was the obstruction, if we could think like that. Then here in Atma's case, what is the obstruction? Is that iha anadira vidyaiva vyamoheika nibandhanam. Here the cause is avidya, the anadira vidya, the beginningless avidya, ignorance. That makes vyamoha eka nibandhanam. That avidya makes all the opposite cognitions. Vyamoha means opposite cognitions. The real object is something else. We know it as something else. Our cognition is different from the actual object. That is called vyamoha. Illusion. Vyamoha is illusion. So this is what is happening because of avidya, ignorance. And that avidya is beginningless because it has no beginning. The beginning implies that an object is originated in a particular time, at a time. But here, the time cannot be described. It cannot be logically said. So there is no way to say that the ignorance started at a time. Therefore, that avidya is beginningless. So this is the reason. Now this avidya has two aspects. This ignorance has two aspects, as you know. Avarana. Avarana means covering, screening off, covering something, screening off something. Here, our experience of Atma is screened off by avidya's avarana. Therefore, as we just now discussed, we know ourselves, but we are unable to say that we know ourselves. We have our experience, but we are not satisfied with that experience. We have our Atma experience. We are always experiencing Atma, but we have unsatisfaction with that. We want further more to experience, something more to experience. All this is happening because of this avidya. This is one aspect of that. And the other part of avidya, other function of avidya is vikshepa. Vikshepa. Vikshepa means various functions. There are all opposite functions, opposite actions and reactions. Vikshepa is actually disturbance in the state of peace. So it has so many actions happening together. When we are in deep sleep, our mind is in peace. It means the state of peace we experience there. But as soon as we wake up, all the vikshepas come in front of. And out of that, the first one is the feeling of individuality. Dvaidam yatra dvaidam iva bhavati. So this is the first vikshepa. Because of this ignorance, we feel our individuality. It means we think that I am separate from that person. I am separate from all whatever outside, the whole world. The world is separated from me. I am separated from the world. So this is because of vikshepa of avidya. And it continues to give us problems, continue to give us sometimes happiness, sometimes sorrow. No? All this is happening because of this vikshepa. So now, once we identify this avarana and vikshepa in us, it is easy to deal with it, especially with our fluctuating mind. So when mind works, we know this is because of this vikshepa, and that vikshepa, this is coming from this is coming from that. Because mind cannot get agitated from atma. When it is focused towards atma, it is concentrated. It has some state of coolness, state of peace. But mind is agitated with the objects outside, because the object brings all contradictory things. Sometimes you are happy, sometimes unhappy. So while you are happy also, you may think this happiness will also go. I have to keep it. I want to keep it. How can I keep this happiness for a long time? So that worry comes. Then you are worried about happiness. No, even while you are happy, you are worried about happiness. Why? Because it is going to go. So how can I maintain it? So this sort of activities in the mind is agitated. So that is called vikshepa. This we will discuss later as well. But why I am just introducing this avidya, this ignorance can be understood this way, because the ignorance is not directly known. You cannot just define ignorance. It is very difficult to define ignorance. So then the next sloka says, now because of this ignorance, all creation starts. The creation arose from this ignorance. How that is discussed. Now the Vedantic theory of evolution starts from here. Chidanandamaya Brahma Pradibamba Samanvita. Chidanandamaya Brahma Pradibimba Samannita. Tamo Rajas Sattva Guna Prakritir Dvividha Chasa. Tamo Rajas Sattva Guna Prakritir Dvividha Chasa. Chidanandamaya Brahma Pradibimba Samannita Tamo Rajas Sattva Guna Prakritihi Dividha Chasa. So that Prakriti, now what is Prakriti? The root cause, the source of all creation, the material cause of all creation is called Prakriti. So that Prakriti is Dvividha. It has two forms that we will discuss later in the next sloka. Now what is this Prakriti? Now Prakriti is defined. Prakriti has Tamo Rajas Sattva Guna. Prakriti has three gunas. So Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. In those these three gunas, Chidananda Maya Brahma Pradibimba Samanvita. So this Prakriti is with the reflection of Chidananda, reflection of Brahman, consciousness and bliss. So the existence is also there. So the consciousness, bliss is reflected in this Prakriti. So therefore the Chidananda Maya Brahma Pradibimba Samanvita Prakriti. So this is the Prakriti in Vedanta. This is the source of creation in Vedanta. The reflection of consciousness is there. The consciousness is reflected in this universal existence of Trigunas. So here the Tama is also cosmic Tama. It's not individual Tama. Raja is also cosmic Rajas. And Sattva is also cosmic Tattva. It's not limited. The universal Tama, universal Raja, and universal Sattva together is called Prakriti. Now, this three guna, by this three guna, Prakriti is constituted. We can't say like that. We should not say these three gunas are the three parts of Prakriti. But we should say Prakriti is characterized by these three gunas. Or Prakriti is inherent in Prakriti, Trigunas are inherent in Prakriti. So they are the one and the same. But when we say it is constituted, it is made of these three guna, so these three gunas become three parts of Prakriti. No, it is not three parts of Prakriti. So it is one and the same. The Prakriti is equal to Trigunas. That is what we want to say. Prakriti is not a separate substance from Trigunas, but Prakriti is equal to Trigunas, Trigunas is equal to Prakriti. The equilibrium state of Triguna is called Prakriti. The equilibrium state of existence of these Trigunas called Prakriti. So when there is some disturbance happens, then the creation starts. So when that equilibrium state is disturbed, then there is Srishti. Now how or when it happens? So in this Prakriti, in Trigunas, the consciousness is reflected. The consciousness which is identified with this Trigunas is called Purusha. Purusha. Purusha means Ishwara. So in Vedanta, Ishwara is defined like this. You can see the definition of Ishwara in next sloka clearly. Sattva Shuddhya Vishuddhibhya Maya Vidye Chate Mate. Sattva Shuddhya Vishuddhibhya Maya Vidye Chate Mate. Maya bimbo vashikritya tam syat sarvajna Ishwaraha. Maya bimbo vashikritya tam syat sarvajna Ishwaraha. This is the definition of Ishwara. We all have to remember in our studies. So long as we study this Vedanta, these definitions should be remembered. Now, what is Ishwara? Ishwara is not a God, just we call it God. No. God is a general name for Ishwara. But Ishwara is not God. Ishwara is even beyond that Godhood. So this Ishwara here is a technical term in Vedanta. As we say technical terms, paribhashita shabdas. So this is a word used to deliver this concept. This is the concept what we discuss here. Therefore, in Vedanta, Ishvara is not a person. Ishvara has no personality. Ishvara has no form. Ishvara has no body as such. Ishvara has no sense organs, mind, intellect, ego. So with all this we call, if these all are there, then we call it as a person. No? So therefore, Ishvara is impersonal. Ishvara has no personality. Therefore, we should define Ishvara with these words. So you just don't say God, Ishvara means God. But in English, we normally translate Ishvara as God. Or we add one adjective there, supreme God. No? Degree of comparison, supreme God, highest God. Yes, because we don't have any other word to communicate. We cannot always quote this definition of Ishvara. So we have to find some word. So you can say that Sattva Shuddhi Avishuddhibhya Maya Avidya Te Mate. In last sloka, Acharya said that Prakriti has two forms. Prakriti Dvitha Chasa. Now, what are those two? That is Maya and Avidya Chate. Maya, the one form of Prakriti is called Maya. The other form of Prakriti is called Avidya. This Maya and Avidya in the form of Prakriti, from the viewpoint of Prakriti, Maya and Avidya is one. But from the viewpoint of creation, or when we study the metaphysics of Vedanta, the Maya and Avidya is separate, different. Therefore, it is two. Now we can see Maya is one and Avidya is second. So we have two forms, right? So this is another very, very technical thing we have to remember. So now you see, as Prakriti, Maya and Avidya is one. Okay, because Prakriti, what is Prakriti? Trigunas, Sattva, Raja and Tama, Trigunas. So in that level, in that equilibrium level, this Maya and Avidya is same. There we don't separate this. There is no need to separate. But when we study the philosophy of Vedanta, the methodology of Vedanta, the system of Vedanta, we have to separate Maya and Avidya. Why? The reason is Maya is the upadhi of Ishwara. Maya is the supportive cause to create the world, or we can say even the material cause of the world. So that Maya is identical with Ishvara. So Maya Shakti, the power of Maya is there in Ishvara. Therefore, what is there in Ishvara as power of creation, the potentiality of creation, that is Maya. It has Kriya Shakti, the power for action, the power for knowledge, Jnana Shakti. So the Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti, actually Ichha Shakti also we can add into that. So these powers are there in Maya only. In pure consciousness has no power. It is the source of all powers, but we cannot say it is powerful. Now, what is powerful? Who is powerful? Ishvara is powerful. Because Ishvara has the power of Maya. So, this way, this Maya and Avidya is separate. Now, Avidya, Ishvara has no Avidya. We don't say Ishvara has Avidya, ignorance. So, Avidya is there only in Jivas. So that we will learn later. Sattva Shuddhi Avishuddhi Bhyam. Now you see, when the cosmic Sattva is pure, what is the purity of that? That is not mixed with Rajas and Tamas. Or in other words, we can say Sattva, the cosmic Sattva. I am adding this adjective cosmic to identify it separately. The cosmic Sattva, when the cosmic Sattva is predominant, then Maya can be active. So the predominant Sattva is Maya. That is called Sattva Shuddhi. So Ishvara makes that Maya as the adjunct for its existence or its action. So Ishvara takes Maya as the support for the creation. Which Maya? Sattva Shuddhi Maya. The purest form of that thing. So this is also there in the Prakriti. Now Avishuddhibhyam, when that Sattva is impure. How it is impure? Because it is mixed with Rajas and Tamas. Now Rajas and Tamas are also active in that Prakriti, then it becomes Avidya. So the Avidya has less Sattva and more Raja and Tamas. Therefore, Avidya does all the actions with Rajas and Tamas. And Tamas is, the Avaranam. Tamas will not support knowledge. Tamas is making all the confusions, ignorance. So Tamas is there in Avidya, and Rajas is the cause for all actions, all petty actions. So this is how it works. Therefore, Avidya can only be there in Jivas, and Maya can only be there in Ishvara. There is no Maya in Jiva, and there is no Avidya in Ishvara. This point we have to be very careful. We have to take very carefully. We have to understand this, because we have this confusion of Avidya and Maya making all this creation, because people say everything is created by Maya. So we think that whatever we create is also because of Maya. No, we can't create anything with Maya. Maya is there only in Ishvara. So therefore, Maya Bimbo Tam Vashikrityasya Sarvajna Ishvaraha. So Maya Bimba means Ishvara is Maya Bimba. Ishvara is reflected consciousness in Maya. This we will discuss elaborately in Chitradipa Prakarana, and all other Prakaranas we will discuss it again. This is only here it is introduced. The concept is introduced. So Maya Bimba is Ishvara. It means Ishvara, the consciousness, universal consciousness, is reflected in Maya. So the Ishvara is also reflected consciousness, but where it reflects? In Maya. Therefore, Maya Bimbaha Ishvaraha Tam Vashikritya, controlling that Maya. So Ishvara has control over Maya. Ishvara is overpowering Maya. Sarvajnaha Ishvaraha. So now Ishwara has one quality. The special quality of Ishwara is omniscient. Ishwara is omniscient. So Sarvatnyaha Ishwaraha. So this is universally, Ishwara is universally spread out, but still Ishwara is a reflection of pure consciousness. Jiva is a reflection. Jiva is also a reflection of consciousness. That consciousness is reflected in Antakarana. We call it mind. So the mind and Avidya together we take, or we can say it's a reflection in Avidya. So when consciousness is reflected in Avidya, which has Tamoguna and Rajoguna, then the Jiva appears. This personality, individuality appears. Therefore, we are unable to think that our existence is universal. We always think our existence is limited because this tamas, this tamoguna covers our knowledge. So this is what is happening here. So Maya Vidya Vashikritya Tam Sya Sarvatnya Ishwaraha. So in next sloka, the second part of Prakriti, that is Avidya, is described. Avidya Vashagastvanyas Tadvai Jitriadane Gatha. Avidya Vashagastvanyas Tadvai Jitriadane Gatha. Sakarana Shariram Syat Prajnastatrabhimanavan. Avidya Vashagaha tu Anyaha Tad Vaijitriad Anegatha. Sa Karana Shariram Syat Prajnaha Tatra Abhimanavan. So the Avidya, which is introduced in the previous sloka, that is Karana Shariram, that is the causal body of this individual Jiva, the individuality. So Avidya Vashagaha Jivaha. Jiva is subjected to Avidya. Jiva is controlled by Avidya. Jiva is under Avidya. Ishwara was the controller of Maya. Ishwara was the controller of Maya and he was overpowering Maya. Here it's opposite. The Avidya is overpowering Jiva. Therefore, Jiva cannot control Avidya. All the consequence happens because of our ignorance. We have to accept it and experience. We have to suffer it. So Avidya Vashagaha to Anyaha. Anyaha and the other who is, now we have discussed about Ishwara. The other person, other existence is Jiva. So Jiva is Avidya Vashagaha. Tad Vaijitriad Anegatha. Though many forms are there for Jivas. The many varieties of Jivas are there. So like Manushya Jiva, there are so many Jivas. In Shastras it is said 84 lakhs varieties of Jiva. 84 lakh yonis. So 84 lakhs varieties of Jivas are there. Varieties, it means like the human beings, one variety, dogs, another variety, horses, another variety like that. So tad vaijitriyad anegadha jivas are there, many forms. And this jiva with avidya reflection is called prajnaha. Because behind this avidya, there is consciousness. The consciousness is inherent even in avidya. But it is not reflective. It is not known directly because this avidya's tamoguna conceals that existence of consciousness. So whenever it is one with that, it's unable to identify separate. So the prajna, so that jiva is called prajna in Sushupti. The prajna is the consciousness identified or inherent in avidya. We call tejasa the consciousness in sukshma sharira, in deep, dream sleep. And in waking state, the consciousness which has all the action is called Vishwa. So Vishwa, Tejasa and Prajna. Vishwa in waking state, the consciousness identified with the waking state is called Vishwa. The consciousness identified with the dream state is called Tejasa. Tejasa. And the consciousness identified with Karana Sharira, the causal body, deep sleep state, is called Prajna. So, this way, now we have a basic understanding of the definition of Ishwara and the definition of Jiva. We will have elaboration in next chapters. We are going to widely elaborate all these subjects, but it is introduced here to have some idea of the creation. And from next shloka, we will start with the creation of, the evolution of Vedanta theory of world, the evolution of world, the world outside. So today we stop here. So now if you have any questions, any clarifications, please ask. Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji. Sanket here.
Oh, yes, please.
I have two questions. One is regarding using the concepts of Prakriti and Purush, which are like the Pradhan concepts of Sankhya philosophy. While using them in Advaita framework, how are we able to maintain the non-duality? When we are in some way accepting the that Prakriti is separate from Brahman. That is one.
Correct.
And second question is regarding Ishwara. So when we say Ishwara is impersonal, that is he doesn't have a form, are we implying here a Nirgun Nirakar Ishwar? And then if we are implying that, what is the position of Sagun Sakar Ishwar?
Correct.
In the framework?
Yeah. Good questions. Yeah. So first I will take up the difference between Sankhya and Vedanta. Now, I think from your question, I could understand that you have some basic idea of Sankhya philosophy. In Sankhya philosophy, Prakriti is individual. It means Prakriti has its own characteristics, and Prakriti is totally different from consciousness. So they are two. That duality is there ultimately in all of forms. The consciousness has no direct connection with the Prakriti in Sankhya philosophy. So consciousness is independent and the Prakriti is also independence. So they call Purusha and Prakriti. And the other thing is, Prakriti is the creator there in Sankhya. The whole creation is because of Prakriti. The material cause is also Prakriti, the creator, the Kartri is Prakriti only. But the Purusha, the consciousness, is not doing anything. The consciousness is not doer, no enjoyer, nothing. Consciousness has its own existence, that's all. In the presence of consciousness, Prakriti does the creation. So that is the basic theory of Sankhya. So when a seeker, a mumukshu, can discriminate Prakriti and Purusha separate. Prakriti is different from Purusha. The characteristics of Prakriti and the characteristics of Purusha are separately known. With that discrimination, he gets moksha, kaivalya. That's the theory there. But in Vedanta, what we say, this Prakriti is identical with Purusha. It means Purusha, the consciousness, when it become a creative power. This is the idea we discussed here. When the creation starts, or we have to make a cause for creation. Because every creation, there must be a cause. Without cause, creation cannot happen. So seeing the effect, we infer the cause there. We assume the cause there. If the effect is this, then cause must be that. When we taste a sweet, so we know this sweet is made of sugar or jaggery or what, something else. So this is the connection. Similarly, here in this world, we see all the forms of Prakriti in three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. Manifestation in many forms, the multitude manifestation that consists of three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And therefore, the cause of this creation must be with sattva, rajas, tamas. And this sattva, rajas, tamas independently cannot create anything. In this world, when we see the creation, the unconscious entity cannot manifest itself. That is what we see. It needs a back force, some power from outside. Now, when we say what is inert, inert means which cannot move its own. it needs some power behind. Then only it can move. So that is what we call jada. So the whatever we see in this creation, everything is created. It means behind this creation there is a material cause, which is Prakriti, and the efficient cause which gives the power to this Prakriti. Therefore, it is identical. For example, the fire and its burning capacity. The fire is different and fire burns. The element of burning in that fire. Now, how we can separate this? Fire is different and the burning capacity of fire is different. The heat inside. Because if the fire is there, if we can use some jacket or something, the special jacket nowadays this fire people have, they use that jacket and enter into the fire. So that fire cannot burn that jacket, the special jacket. And there are medicines in Ayurveda and in India previously people were using that medicine to protect fire. So they use that medicine in their hands and like that. It is a herb, no, that they make from that, some leaves. So after using that medicine, you can put your hand into fire, it will not burn. So it is said in Ayurveda and other texts. So mantra and aushadhi. Now herbs and mantra can protect or prevent the burning power of fire. It's possible. It's a technique used. So it means the fire and burning power is different, but they are one. Because this burning power is there only when the fire is there. The burning fire is there only there when the fire is there. The same thing is here. Purusha prakritisthohi Purushaha prakritisthaha. The consciousness is there in Prakriti. Bhunje Prakritijan Gunan. Prakritijan Gunan, all these three gunas, he enjoys. So this is the connection Purusha and Prakriti. Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. So this is how we say that Prakriti, Maya and Purusha consciousness is the same. Now the other point in Vedanta, Maya is the material cause and the creator efficient cause as Ishwara. But this is only for the sake of teaching Vedantic evolutionary theory. It is not ultimate. Just to teach how it comes out, how this world appears. So this is how it is. We can say that the difference between Sankhya philosophy and Vedantic philosophy. So ultimately there is no difference with the Maya and Purusha. So in Mandukya Kariga, it is directly said, Sacha Maya na Vidyate. We take Maya as the material cause of creation, but really speaking, there is no Maya as such, separate from Ishwara, separate from the Parabrahma, Shuddha Brahma. And therefore, this Ishwara is called qualified Brahma. As you asked, there are gunas in Ishwara. So now, this Ishwara is not pure consciousness, pure existence, but this Ishwara is qualified Brahman. Qualified Brahman for creation. This is another technical term used for Ishwara. Shabala Brahma, we say Shabala Brahma, qualified Brahma. So Ishwara has gunas, but no forms. So what are the gunas? That, like just now we have seen that Sarvatnyaha, Sarvashaktiman, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. So these are the qualities of Ishwara. So this Ishwara is qualified consciousness in Vedanta. So the qualification comes from Maya, that's all. So we will discuss this later with more elaboration, because the test itself will discuss all these subjects. Okay?
Swamiji, one more question is there.
Yeah.
You can, yeah. Dhriti,
Pranam,
yeah.
Swamiji. Pranam.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Yeah.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Yes.
I had a little confusion about Maya, and I understand that Maya, which is controlled by Ishwara, is only made up of Sattva Guna. But then when we talk about so many texts that says Ishwara is, while Trigunatit, Ishwara is also Trigunatmak. So, so when we say Trigunatmak, it has all three gunas. So but now we are saying in the last shloka, as you said, that the only Sattva Guna is Maya, and Ishvara is only related to Sattva Guna. So he is making creation through Sattva Guna only, but Tamas and Rajas are Malin Sattva and Tamas and Rajas, which then goes into the category of Avidya, which is what the world is. So if there is no Tamas and Rajo Gunas, then is the Prakriti itself Avidya then? Do you see where I'm coming from? It is a little bit, it's confusing.
Yeah, the answer is, we have to understand that no guna can be separated from other gunas. It means when we say Sattva Guna, it doesn't mean only Sattva Guna. It means Sattva Guna is predominant there. So Sattva Guna is more powerful in this state. So the Rajas and Tamas is there, because without Rajas and Tamas, Sattva cannot come. Because these three gunas, as I said, these three gunas are not three parts.
Yes.
These three gunas are different functions of the same substance, Prakriti.
Okay.
So if there are three parts, you can cut off one part, but they are not like that. They are the essential, it is the existence of that substance. So the substance called Prakriti is equal to Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Okay. When Sattva is predominant, and rajas and tamas is very less, then we say it is sattva pradhana. Okay. And similarly in jiva also, jiva, it doesn't mean there is no sattva in jiva. Sattva is also there because we have so much knowledge. Even we can get Brahmajnana as well in this world, in this experience. So the sattva is not very strong, or it is having less power. The tamas and rajas is predominant. And in between tamas and rajas also, sometimes rajas is predominant, tamas is less. This can be happen. All these variations are there, are so many variations of this. These all discussed in the different Puranas, and in Upanishads also it is discussed. So this is basically when we say Sattva Pradhana Purusha. So Sattva Pradhana Purusha means just to understand that Shuddha Sattva is predominant in Ishwara's case. And in Jiva's case, the Raja and Tama is predominant. One after another or in many mixes. That's the meaning. Okay.
Swamiji, there is one more question. Will you be able to, or we will stop it?
I think we will take next section, or I will answer in the group. So who are asking the question, they can put the question in the group.
Okay.
Because now we have crossed the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Maharaj.